Welcome back to Cure for the Common Game, and today we're going to be talking about Karametra. Love me some gods, and Karametra I think is one of the most abusable ones out there. FYI, for those that don't know, she's a 5 mana. I really don't even care if she gets turned into a creature. If she does, hey, that's fine. Her devotion is 7, because all the 2-color devotions were 7. By the way, I think 3-color gods is probably a Monket. I don't know. That's my prediction. Probably won't nothing happen though. But anyway, Karametra has this beautiful ability of whenever you play a dude, you get to search your land for a base, or search your library for a basic land and put it into play. So imagine every creature has a built-in rampant growth on it for the free. Now, obviously, we want to play this girl as quick as possible, and obviously there are things like we want to play a whole bunch of creatures. And I'm playing a little more than normal lands. I am playing 1 non-basic land. That's it. All the rest, I think I have 20 forest and 22 plains. That's a bunch of land. However, you're getting it. Speaking of how to land just like we did with Azusa, I'm going to run the Constant Miss because why not? If it does happen, if I am getting outclassed by some kind of creature with evasion that I can't block or something, we have a ton of creatures here. But if it's something that I'm outclassed in, Constant Miss is going to bail us out. Of course, we're going to do green. We got to have a regrowth. And then we got to have the regrow all. I love the Praetor's Council because not only does it get you your whole yard back in your hand, but it gives you essentially an emblem. I don't understand why they didn't do an emblem with this, but they want emblems to be unique to Planeswalkers, so I guess I get it. Anyway, you have no max hand size for the rest of the game. Sorcery that lasts the whole game. Wow. And of course we're playing Harmonize because, let's face it, we can cast it. In EDH, if you can cast Harmonize, if it can legally be in your deck, it's pretty good. Too good, actually. What else do we have here? Oh, yeah. Our only other instant is, of course, Sword to Plowshare. It's really good removal. Enchantments. Now, a lot of our dudes are going to end up being pretty big. And the downside to really big creatures is a lot of times they do not have trample. So this is going to take care of that. Because we are getting lands into play, seems only right to run the Blanchwood Army and the Armored Ascension. It feels an awful lot like cheat codes, but as far as creature enchantments go, pretty nice. Especially if Karametra's online, you can one-shot people with your general. Now, Nature's Will. Nature's Will is kind of unique. I found this purely by accident. I was playing a game and looking through a binder at the same time, and I happened to be playing Karametra, and it dawned on me, and the problem is, you tap your lands, you play your dude, you get your other land, and you've expended all your mana. You swing. It untaps all your lands. Yes, if you have anything still left in your hand, you can start it over again. I put it in. I've never drawn it here again. The idea struck me, and I thought, wow, this is good. So, I don't know. I think Nature's Will is a good card. We have Alluring. Now, let's face it. It's Alluring. There's really no reason not to play with it. There's so many low drop creatures, 1, 2, and 3s, that it makes it a value, and there's a few ways to get every land out of your deck infinitely. We're going to put Alluring right down there for now, because we're going to come back to it. Artifacts. Obviously, Amulet of Vigor. Got to have the Amulet of Vigor, because your lands are coming into play tapped. This untaps them, so that's pretty good. Of course, since Panharmonicon, here we are again. Oh my gosh, it's so good. Standard, I was playing Standard last night. Believe it or not, there was a point in time I had 4 of these on the board at the same time. Now, I didn't win because that's all I was drawing, but... Oh, by the way, Standard Showdown update last night. At the local LGS, a polluted Delta. An Expedition polluted Delta was pulled. Those treasure chests or showdown packs are the real deal. Anyway, Panharmonicon. Because a lot of our creatures do have comes into play abilities because, let's face it, we want to double dip as much as possible. Double, triple, quad, yeah, all of it. And then, of course, Aetherflux Reservoir, because we are going to be playing some cards over and over. There is a few loops. We're going to put that right down here by the Alluring. Now, Mana Ramp. By Mana Ramp, I mean a couple of different things. We have the 4-pack here of 1-drops. The 3 elves and the bird. Obviously, this is going to help us get Karametra out early. Even if we get them late, we still get a land drop out of it. There's no drawback here. We have the Lotus Cobra. The Lotus Cobra I almost put in the Landfall pile because I have a pile of creatures that are Landfall, even though some of them don't say Landfall. Then, of course, we have the Wood Elves, which is really neat because you spend 3 mana to get a 1/1 and a forest, or a forest in the plains. You get 2 lands out of this. It's amazing. And then Seedborn Muse, because let's face it, she's green, she's a creature, and she can make just a crazy amount of ants. Introduce you to Ant Queen. She's one of our mana dumps for late game, obviously. I cannot talk about one of these without talking about the other. We all know what Shakir Tribe Elder does. We've been playing with this since Kamigawa. It's amazing. But let me read you the exact wording on Emira Shepherd. Whenever a land enters the battlefield under your control, like say you sack this guy and go get the plains, you may return non-land permanent, like this guy, from your graveyard to your hand. If that land is a plains, you may return that non-land permanent to the battlefield. So with these 2 cards, you can get every plains in your deck out and play on the same turn. It's nuts. You've got her. You sack him to go get the plains. The plains comes into play untapped, and her ability triggers him back in play. It's 2 cards separated by years, but you know what? And the Angel, I mean, she's really honestly not that good. 7 mana, 4/4, I guess. But this ability makes it worth it. Love the 2 of these together. Shakir Tribe Elder and Emira Shepherd. It's beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Now, we have got, let's see here. Now we got dudes. We got dudes that do something when they cut, well, whenever a creature comes into play under your control, we're going to draw a card. Because let's face it, we're going to run out of cards pretty quick, and this is good for this deck because we're casting a bunch of creatures. Now, Sun Titan. I know Sun Titan does not work well with Alluring, but they work well with the same type of cards. Just in case any of your other dudes get pummeled, you got your Sun Titan. 6/6 body doesn't hurt matters either. We have Acidic Slime. Here again, it's too good not to play. It has a comes into play ability. It does get us a land, and there is a need for a little bit of removal. Actually, there's a need for a lot of bit of removal. And of course, we're going to have some card draw. Wall of Blossoms. And I know you think a lot of these just look redundant, but we're getting somewhere. Juniper Order Ranger. Really like the Juniper Order Ranger because, well, you're going to have big creatures coming into play, and the counters are going to be getting passed out, and oh, it's so good. Now, before I show you this one, we got to get the into the Landfall pocket here. This seems good. We're going to have lands coming into play. We're going to be getting energy for it, and then we're going to have this guy, and we're going to roar. Yeah, energy. That's pretty much all the extent of I went with energy. There may be a few more. We have Kitabi Orangutan. Takes a lot of concentration for me to call it that. It destroys an artifact when it comes into play. It's pretty good. Destroy Warpiece to Throne. Destroys enchantment when it comes into play. Obviously, this is our removal. Although now it's removal plus getting a land. Courser of Krufix. This is Landfall, people. A lot of this is Landfall that they just don't call it Landfall. It's like this. Whenever you play a land, investigate. This is Landfall. I'm not exactly certain, except for the fact that we just left Zendikar. Landfall, I believe, should be a evergreen mechanic, because they're doing it a lot more than they used to. And it seems like there's one or two cards in every set that has a Landfall ability. Now we go to straight up Landfall. Let's get a 1/1 bird. Landfall, we get a 4/4 beast. Landfall, this guy gets bigger. Well, if you've got the secure tribe elder thing going on, oh my gosh, that can win you the game. Same thing's true for Step Links or the Hedron Scrabbler. Now, there are some, like Admonition Angels, pretty good, would go in the deck. My Admonition Angels are taken for other decks, but there's a bunch of cards that, I mean, this is not a absolute end-all, be-all definitive list here. This is just my fun list that I play with. I like it. Now, let's talk about Fleetwood Panther and White Mainline. These guys are awesome, and in this deck you can go infinite because you've got the Alluring. You're playing these guys for the free, and the White Mainline comes in and he says, return a creature you control to your owner's hand. You just keep playing him. Hey, remember this card? We're gaining. Yeah, you remember that card. So, you just played this guy and you paid 50 to deal 50 to everybody at the table. You just headshotted everybody at the table. Same thing is true for the Fleetfoot Panther. It's the same concept, except when he comes into play, you return a green or a white one. If it's free with Alluring, you just have infinite cast triggers, infinite into the battlefield triggers, and you're gaining a crazy amount of reservoir life. Now, I've got Stampeding Cerro and Stampeding Wildebeest. Of course, we all know this is two versions of the same card. To put some of those comes into play, affect creatures back in your hand. Maybe you need to destroy another artifact, or maybe you need more Wood Elf land, who knows. Intrepid Hero is just good removal for creatures. He's a creature that kills creatures. That's kind of awesome. Here's another, this returns a permanent to your hand, which can be way better, way more useful. Speaking of returning stuff to your hand, Enlisted Ultimatum, as we called it when this was back in Standard, because you play, yeah, it was crazy. Anyway, Cascade is real, it's broken. In this deck, there's not many cards you're going to get, or you're not going to get. You won't get the Praetor's Council. It's going to hurt if you hit a Hydra, obviously, but it's pretty decent. Scavenging Ooze. It's good. It's green. It's a dude. It does everything we want to do. It kills dead things. It gets counters. Seems pretty decent. Of course, we have the Escort. We got to have the Escort to protect our team. Thought about running the Selfless Spirit, but I just couldn't find a place to work it in. The Pride Mage. Artifact or Enchantment. Elder. A lot of people don't realize how good the Yavimaya Elder is. I don't know if I've talked about this particular card before, but Yavimaya Elder is pretty amazing. This is as close to green as getting to an Ancestral Recall. Well, I don't know. Harmonize is good, and this actually, I can't decide if I like this better than Harmonize or not. This is not just straight up mana for creatures, but it is 5 mana for 3 cards. And a temporary dude. Because you have My Elder. Okay? You can spend 2 mana and sack it, draw a card. Now, when he's put into a graveyard from play, you search your library for 2 basic lands, put them in your hand. Yes, excuse me. 2 of the 3 cards are basic lands. So, I don't know. He's really good. We've played him forever. Primordial Hydra is another mana dump. I mean, doubling your counters every turn, and you're probably going to have some mana to put into that Joker anyway. Speaking of having mana, yes, our favorite mutant ninja turtle. The Comedian Colossus here, outstanding, especially with a ton of mana. Pro Black helps substantially. Champion of Lamholt. Obviously, here again, we're playing creatures, so it's really good to have and Panharmonicon, hello? Oh, so good. Scion. Power and toughness equal number of dudes you have. Wow. Really? Because we got all of our regular dudes. We're making beast dudes. We're making bird dudes. It's nuts. And then Molimo. Talk about the all-star. Power toughness equal number of lands you control, and he has trample built right in. Ain't even gotta fake it. It's built right in. But yeah, Karametra can get pretty ridiculous pretty quick. Love her to death. I love playing with a ton of lands. Love getting the lands out faster than I should. It's a good deck. I have a ton of fun with it. As a matter of fact, I made a similar version of it for one of my kids. They asked for a Karametra EDH deck for their birthday. I did more of an elf theme, but different story. That's what I got for Karametra. I don't know about y'all. I appreciate you watching. Be sure you comment, like, subscribe, share. Get anybody you know that's playing EDH to watch in. Drop me a line here. Tell me what I'm doing wrong. Tell me what I'm doing right. Tell me what decks you'd like to see. I appreciate you watching, but it is time for a shuffle and a cut.